Good evening.
Diana Sheridan, and I am running for NIC Trustee. I'm from Zone 2. And I think each of us are just going to give us a little bit of our backgrounds. We have some idea of our skill sets we bring to this situation. I have a Bachelor's of Science, School of Medicine, University of Washington. That was my college. My experience that I think is more applicable to this particular position is the following. 38 years as an entrepreneur, took a business from zero to millions of dollars a year in revenue, and have ran all aspects of a business, budgets, policies, hiring and firing, asset acquisition and deposition. And by the way, I love math and I love profit and loss statements and budgets. They actually are something I'm particularly fond of. The other thing I've done was 25 years of advocacy work where I was working with families whose children were having problems in school. And I would come alongside them and take a look at what the current situation was, what are we really dealing with, what needed to be done to change that outcome for that student. And in that process, I dealt with children from the age of 3 all the way to college students. And I was dealing with teachers, principals, administrators, specialists. I've been to mediation with a family, with the school district, and I've been to court as an expert witness. In that process, I believe that I was very successful at being able to take people who were in different positions and get everybody focused on one goal and move everybody forward for a good result and a good outcome. And with that, I'm sure I'm past my minute, Mr. Timer. No, not that. No.
You got 5 seconds.
Oh. Wow, that was a slow minute. Okay, on with that. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Mike Wagner. I'm running for Zone 5, NIC Trustee. My background is I was in the military as a first sergeant. I have multiple college degrees in business. I have about 40 years experience in middle management and project management in Fortune 100 companies where I had to hire, fire, plan, budget, and all those things that you have to do to run a business. My family came here in 1907 to Idaho, southern Idaho, Burley. So I'm used to that culture. They still run the family farm that was set up in 1920. I just talked to my cousin this afternoon, and that's in Nampa, Idaho. So I'm a conservative. I'm also a strong Christian and believe in treating people fairly and doing the right thing. Okay. My slogan, and some folks have borrowed it already, make NIC great again. And the second part is reflect community values. I think the school needs to reflect the values of those folks in the area. Waiting for him to reset his clock. Ready?
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ron Hartman. I'm a candidate for Zone 1, which is this area right here. I'd like to mention the 3 of us are the ones that have been vetted and are the hot recommended candidates by the KCRCC. All 3 of them. And we'll make that real clear. My education, my grade school and high school, I went to Catholic schools. College, I went to University of Missouri, acquired an engineering degree, a Bachelor of Science. Also got my master's in business and MBA. I've got 48 years experience in corporate 100 companies. I got 32 years at Ford Motor. I got 11 years at Caterpillar. I've got 2 years at John Deere. I also hold a United States patent. I designed that at Caterpillar. And I was a Special Olympics coach for high school boys for 4 years and took them to the state championships at Illinois State University 2 years in a row. Why am I running? I'm running to support our Christian family values to ensure students have academic freedom, that we restore transparency, and we bring back a community focus to the college. Also, that we restore our pride in America, because those who disrespect the flag have never received a full degree. To do this will require a majority on the Board of Trustees that will rewrite the values that we share as a community into the college policies. This is our college. It should reflect our Christian family values. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy reminded me that I forgot to mention that we did invite all 6 candidates for tonight. And there you are. And that the Grange is a nonpartisan, non-denominational organization.
Thank you.
Okay, where should we begin? Here.
How long on the question?
Yes, thank you. And if you have your cell phone on, please turn it on.
We're going to be timed on answers too. That's what I'm trying to understand. up
If
front.
you just keep it brief, there's 3 of you, so
Okay.
it's not like there's
trying
things of you.
to know
So
what the game plan was.
if you just keep your, I mean, the briefer you keep your questions, the more questions we can have.
Deal.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Do you think this event, and I think they're talking about
One of it.
the Hollow Queens,
Oh, okay.
do you think this event is in keeping with community standards? And as a trustee, an office of public trust, what steps would you take to ensure that children are not exposed to adult events on campus?
Okay, well, that's pretty easy. We generated some numbers that about 62.5% of the folks in Kootenai County are Christians. About 64% are Republicans, and there's about 20% unaffiliated who vote conservatively. So I would not support the drag queen type thing going on at the school. And I think we should have a policy against that type of thing. You need to have academic freedom, but the college is making a statement when it approves that type of activity.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Of course. Do you think this event, speaking about the Hollow Queen, is in keeping with community standards? And as a trustee, an office of public trust, what steps would you take to ensure that children are not exposed to adult events on campus?
Okay, so my understanding is this event has happened for the last number of years, but that this was the first time that the statement was made on the flyer in regards to children, people of all ages. And I made a couple phone calls because I'm like, but this doesn't sound appropriate. That they're inviting children of all ages, and children of all ages will be present. My understanding is that the flyers, so this is a club that is putting on this event, and my understanding is that the advisors to the clubs are actually supposed to review the flyers. It's not clear to me at this time if that happened, but I saw a note from the current president who seems to be addressing that, and it remains to be seen exactly what will happen with that. But yes, I would not be in favor of children ever in an event like that. I don't think it should be happening on the college campus, and I think there's policy currently in place that wouldn't have happened. We'll see how it gets on.
I support everything that the first 2 people said, so I'm going to keep it pretty brief. No, I don't agree with this going on at all. I would want to work with the lawyer to see what we could do with the college policy to control this sort of thing. We all saw what happened in the community this summer when they had the event, and we've got a person in the community that's literally getting sued over it now too. So this sort of stuff just splits the community wide open. And this is the kind of stuff that we can't have going on. And it doesn't reflect the community values.
For 18 months or so, NIC has been the focus of unfavorable press. Oftentimes, published articles were exaggerated and/or misleading. What strategies do you have for improving the reputation of NIC amongst community partners and reassuring the community at large that NIC is not losing their accreditation and that NIC is their community college?
Thank you.
I think you probably best on this one.
First of all, I think there's a number of things that need to happen currently or that could happen currently to calm what I think is a lot of fear that's been stirred up that's not warranted. The letter that was written by the accreditation agency that was looking into,
We got copies of it right here.
and it's on the website, but it basically boils down to four things. Two of them are requirements, two of them are recommendations. The two requirements were that there needed to be 5 trustees. At the time that this letter was written, there were 2 because 3 had resigned. It is a statute that there needs to be 5 trustees for the community college, and that has been fulfilled. There were 3 appointed in May, and there will be, those 3 positions are the ones that we're currently running for, and those positions will be filled by elected people come November. So that is a check. That one has been handled. The second one that was a requirement had to do with a policy, and there is a new policy that was put in place in August, and it has to do with board conduct. That is something that is being reviewed ongoing, but there is current language, current policy in place. Now to the 2 recommended. The 2 recommended items were the following. That they recommended that the president that was temporarily positioned at that time that position be filled with a permanent person. That happened the beginning of August. Check. That president currently is here and is running the college. The next one was that there were 2 positions that were VP vacant / temporary position people in place, and they recommended that those positions be filled, but not until after the president was put into place. So my understanding is that there's been solicitations that have gone out, there are applications that are coming in, and that is in the process of being fulfilled. Those are the 4 main things. Now, at the very end of that same letter, it also says that, let's say we get to the spring review, so there's one end of March, 1st of April that's scheduled to happen. We get to that review and nothing's been done of everything that they said, which already is not true, because most all of that's been addressed. But if we got to that point and nothing had been addressed, there would be 2 options. There would be 2 things that could happen. They could put the college on probation, and or the college could come back with show cause, which would be, we haven't got this done, but here's our reasons why we haven't got that done. But there was nothing in that part of the letter addressing that ever suggested that, oh, and by the way, at that point, we pull accreditation. So, and if you go onto the college website, it currently says that when asked if there's a threat to accreditation being pulled this academic year, the website affirms that that's not the case unless something egregious was to happen. In other words, a new something came up. So that's the current understanding I have based on the current information that's been published and is currently on the website.
Would you do that?
I think though what the community would like to know is, how are you going to repair our reputation in the community?
Oh, yeah. So now that we know what the status is, I think a lot of that information has not been broadcast. I don't think that when I talk to people about what was actually in the warning letter and the current status of it, they're amazed. So, and I don't think that Kootenai Press is the answer for getting that published. So I think there needs to be a good old-fashioned PR campaign to get that information out in whatever way possible. I think that a positive, a place to start positively too would be working with, there's career counselors in all of the high schools. I don't know that any of them are aware of the current status. And I've been told that their students have been unadvised to go to the campus. So there's a lot of arms to it that I think could happen, but that would be my first place, would be just to start with some good old-fashioned PR where the communication of the true status and what currently is happening and where we're at gets communicated, but not via CD.
Okay, I would agree with everything she said. We need to realize that NIC is a very precious resource in the community. It needs to be enhanced. I've been focusing on how can we repair the reputation of the college. Not only she's been talking about accreditation, I'm also talking about the fact that at least in the Christian community, the school is viewed, perceived, correctly or not, that it is not a good place to send your kids. And so we need to get that addressed. And if there's a real issue, it needs to be addressed. If there's not, then the perception needs to be addressed. NIC is a great opportunity. I'd like to see it expanded throughout, much more throughout the whole five counties. I think there's a huge opportunity there. But getting back to the original question, I know I went to one church and the minister got up and said, don't work, two parents work to send your kids to college because they're just going to turn your kids against you. And so that type of thing needs to be addressed. And if it's real, again, address it. If it's perceived, then we need a PR campaign for that too. It's too precious a resource to let it be just partially utilized.
To try and answer the question about the reputation, I think was the first part of it. I think what you can already see is the three of us would get along if we got elected. And that would go a long way to repair it right now. I think you can see that we're all in agreement. I'm in agreement with what they just said. So if you got like-minded people on a board, you're going to fix this just by the fact that they're like-minded and they get along. And I think I can speak for the other two saying we can get along with the two that are currently elected. So I don't know how the bad information is going to be able to continue to propagate when we're all getting along, other than they might not like the way they're doing things. But and right now, I think Diana mentioned it a minute ago, if you go to the college website right now, they even state that there's no risk of accreditation right on their own webpage. So why this continues to happen is beyond me, and it's bad information. It's not the truth, and there is no risk of this college losing its accreditation. Thank you. And there's copies of the letter right up here, and I've highlighted the areas that Diana spoke about. So you can come up here and pick up letters and read them for yourself.
Okay, ready for the next question?
Sure.
How long have you lived in Kootenai County, and what is your experience with community colleges?
All right. So, Kootenai County, let me see. I lived in Bennewauk County for a while, but Kootenai County specifically, I've been here about a year, lived a year here. And my experience with community colleges is the following. So there is a program here at NIC that's called dual enrollment. When I was doing advocacy work, it was called, it had a different name in the area that I was in at the time, but it was the same concept. And it was one of the most brilliant tools I ever had access to. And I worked with students who were way behind in school. And by using dual enrollment, we're able to graduate on time with their peers. We're able to get college credits without cost to their parents. I love the whole experience with that interaction between, just that interaction. And I've seen it used with students like that to do high school, high school completion, end up with high school credits, do a high school diploma, get their 2-year transfer degree, and go on to a 4-year. So I've not been on the inside of a community college, but I have worked extensively with I'd call the product of a community college, very successfully.
Okay, so I've been here 3 years. When I went to college, my parents gave me $80 to go because I had spare tires on my little Volkswagen and they were afraid I was going to get killed on the road. So the only way I could go was to live at home and go to community college. So I had 2 years at community college, and then I finished out 2 years and got my 4 years, and then I made enough money that I could go to night school for 5 years and get my MBA. So I credit my whole success in my career with starting at a community college. That's the only way I could afford it. And so that's one of the reasons why I think it's such a precious resource. And I look around me in Kootenai and Bonner and Boundary and Benoit and Shoshone, and my question is, how can we expand the college? How can we expand its capabilities, focus its capabilities on the right capabilities to help the people here? And it has a great campus, it has great staff, it has great faculty, and it has some leadership. And so how can that be enhanced to help people get started, and the younger people especially?
I've lived here 2 years, but I have, as I mentioned, I've been in Ford and Caterpillar and John Deere, which are very big in the machining and manufacturing. And while I was at Caterpillar, I was given the task to work at the community college down there in Tucson, Arizona, called Pima Community College. And we had the young engineers coming out of college with their 4-year BS, some of them with their master's in engineering. But they didn't really have much understanding or grasp of what a lathe was, or a vertical milling machine, or TIG, MIG welding, or any of that. And yet they were to be responsible for releasing the drawings for new equipment. So I had to go over to the Pima Community College and set up a program specifically for our engineers to go through. They weren't going to get any credit for it, but it's training to get them on lathes, to get them on vertical mills, to know what joule blocks are, what coordinate axis machines are, and then another class on welding for TIG, MIG, and all those. And because of that, I think I'm an excellent representative for our outstanding facility out here at Parker Tech. It's only 6 years old, and I got the opportunity to get a tour through the facility about a month ago. And I got the tour of the machining, the welding, the auto body repair, the auto mechanics, the diesel engine mechanic one. And I got to talk to the instructors because I showed up near the end of the day. And it was literally like talking shop because we all knew it. And the facility and what they have out there is only 6 years old. And it's a spectacular facility. And the thing that I learned from them is that right now they feel like orphans to the college. And I think, as I explained to you, I can talk shop with these guys, and I can make sure that they don't feel like orphans, and I left my card out there with all of them. And the other thing I learned with talking to them is that the facility is only 50% capacity. And yet, there's a worldwide shortage of all of these trades. Because I've been in 35 countries around the world. Before I retired from Caterpillar, they had me over in Croatia for quite a while. And even Croatia and Austria and all those countries are short on welders. China's even short on welders. And what the instructors told me was that any student that wants to work, once they graduate, has a job. And these are high-paying jobs, and they're in high demand. And so then I started going out to the dealerships here. And I started asking them about Parker Tech and what they thought about it, what could be done better, and what do they like and don't like about it. And I happened to be at the Maserati dealership dealership, and I ran into the guy that is actually the chair over the auto mechanic area, the whole Parker Tech. I said, oh, I really found the right guy. So I said, so how's it going as far as getting your mechanics you need? He told me, he says, I've put an incentive out to every single employee in the dealership that I'll give them $500 if they just bring me a referral. I don't even have to hire the guy. And if the guy's there 9 months, I'll give him another $500. And so I said, so how's that working for you? He says, I haven't had a referral in 2 months. So I think I can help turn that around. We're doing a very poor job of marketing the facility. Another part of the problem is we don't have any affordable living for these students. Like out of Parker Tech, they're there for 8 hours. It's not a 1 hour English class or a 1 hour chemistry class. They show up in the morning and they're full 8 hours. Now we cover 5 counties for this community college. And a lot of these students are from way up around Sandpoint and up that way. And I met a mother and a potential student, and their concern was for affordable living. We've only got 129 dorms. Now the price isn't too bad. You get a $1,400 meal voucher that's included, so it's room and board for $7,000 a year or 2 semesters. Yet, if you try to find an apartment around here, I think you're going to be lucky to find one at $1,800 a month or $21,600. That's over triple. I think what we need to do to improve with helping the community out and being community focused is we need to take on the responsibility to figure out how many new dorm rooms we need and to figure out how to get the raise the bonds and stuff and be doing stuff like that versus buying Fort Ground Grill bars down in the middle of the field. We need to be focused on dormitories and not bars.
Have you been to the Sandpoint Center yet?
No, I haven't been up there.
Or work for training?
I ran way long, I'm sorry. I have a lot to say on that one.
Have you seen the workforce training? Not yet. They're out there. That's for the apprenticeship.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. In the last few years, we've seen CRT, white privilege, and diverse equity and inclusion introduced to our schools, students, and pronouns and drag queens in our school as well. Those have no place in our schools. Every student should have the same opportunity. The question is, can we trust that these things will not be allowed at NIC? I think you guys kind of touched on that before, if you want to expand.
I just got this talking. I mean, we can all take it, you know.
Well,
Your answer is
one,
good.
they're adults. 2, you have to have academic freedom. That's even a policy. I have some concerns about some of those things, but you have to allow people, adults, to go ahead and view other things, but they also have to view all views and have academic freedom for all of them is what I would say. So I guess that's the bottom line.
I'll go along with the academic freedom part, and the colleges are supposed to foster an environment for discussion and debate. There's a difference between academic freedom and indoctrination. And the indoctrination part's what's got stuff. And we got some of that going. So I agree with that.
Yeah, focus on back to good old basic, how do you think? Like teaching somebody how to think will move them very forward versus telling them what to think. So I believe that approach to learning is going to be way more productive than any ideological, boxed ideology. Coerced, forced, required, whatever.
What is your position on mask and vaccine mandates at the school?
Oh, yeah.
I wish
She's gonna say it all.
No, no, not on my watch, no.
I don't believe in it, and I wouldn't support it, and it should be against policy.
My answers are no to all that too, but to keep it in check is to work with the lawyer and get it written into the college policies so that we've got it documented in the policies too. But yeah, there's no place for this. And well, we lost one president over this issue, and I don't think we got a problem losing another one over it.
Okay. Is that everything I needed to say on that one?
All reasoning and logic has to start with a given, a truth. What is your starting point, and what is truth?
Well, that would be easy. I'm a Christian, and I believe in biblical truth, and that's where I get my standard of right and wrong. I believe in treating everyone with dignity and respect. I believe in those standards that come from the Bible, and so that's basically it.
I'm going to go back to the facts of what the nuns feed into me. I tell you what, any of you who've been to Catholic schools know what I'm talking about. So, and those that haven't, I've probably heard about the schools anyway. So I think that kind of puts you where I'm at and what my beliefs are.
The only thing that comes to mind when I'm sitting here thinking about it is love God and love your neighbors yourself. And that kind of encapsulates it all for me. Oh, what else?
You should get the whole stack. Trick of water.
You are doing a very good job of keeping your answers straight and going. All candidates were invited to this traditional forum. You all were harshly criticized for not attending the chamber forum at NIC. Do you think the Kootenai Press will have a front page article about your opponents not attending to this very traditional nonpartisan forum happened to you? Yes or no?
No. It won't even be in the editorial.
My children will tell you not ever take a bet with me because the only time I ever bet on anything is if I know I'm going to win. So my statement is I bet that there's no article tomorrow.
This was my turn. I've been waiting for this. First of all, I declined the chamber invitation 3 different times. I was not a no-show. They came after me 3 times and asked me to go. I said, no, I'm not going to. The chamber went ahead and put my name in front of a chair, empty chair, and stated I was a no-show. It's a flat lie. Then, the next day, the Kootenai Press places a picture of my name in front of an empty chair also and says I'm a no-show. Now they too lie. So, to me, common journalism practice is to confirm your sources and the information before you press. I don't think the press does much of that. The press did not contact me to ask if I had declined this chamber at all. The other thing, I want to show you an 18-second clip from the chamber forum that night, which I got right here on the laptop. I've been waiting. And what you'll see is my opponent is asked a question and then is confused and asks which number this is. She lost track of which answer. To prove this, let me show you the question ahead of time. All right. This is only about 18 seconds long.
You want to put the mic up too?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thumbs up.
Here we go. How important is it for the NIC Board to listen to and seek suggestions from the NIC staff, the local business community, and others in guiding the mission and setting the goals for NIC? Yes, this is number 5.
Hey, you think they had the questions ahead of time? Which question were? Oh, this is question number 5. That's why we weren't there.
What's that?
I said when we were invited
Oh, wait, I'll go.
that I had another engagement and I let them know that ahead of time. So, as well, not a no-show, just wasn't available that evening.
I got 2 more paragraphs. I'm not done with this one. The other one too, the chamber and then also I think it was the press said, well, we must not be concerned about the college and the students because we weren't there. So I want to clarify this part too. I've been at the last 12 board meetings. This included the interviews of all the candidates for the new college president. I have not seen my opponent at one of the last 12 meetings. So who really has no concern for the college and what's going on in the students?
Next.
You ready? Again, you may have touched on this one before. How will you help create an atmosphere of cooperation and respect on the board? How will you capitalize on each other's strengths?
I'd really love to answer that. Really. This is mine. Okay, 1.
Last one was mine.
We have 2 conservatives on there right now who have the same values as we do. One of the problems in the past is there were 2 people who are not conservatives that had different values. And from the 2 conservatives that are elected and are on there today. And so there was constant conflict. Okay? So if the 3 of us get on there, we have very similar values. And it would appear to me as someone, I have a human resources degree, one of them, and I have lots of experience putting in projects where I had to organize teams of up to 101 people. These people are very consistent across all 5. That's 1. I would not expect hardly any conflict besides the average, the normal type of thing. 2, I am amazed as a hiring manager who's hired hundreds of people, the 3 of us are slightly different but very compatible. A couple of weeks ago, we were working on something, and I made the statement, we're like plywood. We stick together, but the grain, goes across the other, and so I'm trying to break it, unless the glue comes apart, which is our values, isn't going to break. It's really amazing how well we already work together right now. So you can have 100% confidence that we would be able to go in, work, be fair, treat people with dignity and respect, and work as a team to enhance the college and work any issues there. I'm extremely confident of that.
You're good. The only other thing I'd like to add is, I think I can speak for the 3 of us. They'll let me know if I don't. Yeah. I think the 3 of us can get along with the 2 that are already elected. I think our 3 opponents wouldn't get along with the other 2 that are elected. And I think you'd see more of what you've been seeing.
Ready? Yeah. Okay. Do you plan to represent the public, even those who did not vote for you?
Say that again.
Do you plan to represent the public, even those who did not vote for you?
Of course, absolutely. That's part of the job description. Unwritten, but it's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was easy.
I'd like to say one additional thing. I consider this to be a sacred trust. The community has spent, the budget right now is $61.5 million a year. I'm a pretty conservative person, and my family are Idaho farmers. It's my responsibility to make sure that's used efficiently and to represent the community and make sure this asset, this investment is used to the maximum extent for the good of the community. And I'm not doing my job if I don't.
I'm good. Okay, you're good?
The Kootenai County assessor is having difficulty recruiting to fill appraiser positions. This is a nationwide problem because it takes over a year to become certified to set assess values for tax purposes, Idaho state law. The question is, what will you do to help create internships or a work for college credit program to help grow a supply of new recruits or prospective recruits for local jobs at the assessor's office? And I would imagine other
Okay,
positions as well.
I'll address part of that. One of the concerns I have about the school with the previous president, 2 presidents ago, they canceled programs where people could have jobs. And I look at the foremost responsibility or mission for the school to help people in the community with jobs. So what you need to do is essentially, as an MBA, I'd say marketing. You go out and do research and find out what's needed, and then you provide it for the local community. Spencer's sitting back there in the red shirt, and he was in the aerospace program, and they canceled the aerospace program, and all of the students that were signed up and already hired by people like Boeing, etc., and they canceled it before they could finish it. What is going on here? So things like assessor and from a marketing standpoint, we're spending tens of millions of dollars. It's coming out of people's taxes. They're downgrading their abilities to feed their families or enjoy life or whatever. If the school needs to address these kinds of things, I think, if I could refresh my memory, guys, that after the general studies, the biggest technical program was like dental assistant, and it only is 4% of the budget. I don't understand why that is occurring. Why isn't more of the school resources being applied to all of these needs in the community? People need jobs, especially to get started with the young people. We hear about the millennials and the younger people than that who can't find a job and they need these skills. I don't understand why they did that. And one of the things I would want to do is immediately begin working with the president and saying what programs need to be in there for the community. These people need help. The kids are just getting started. And why do we train people in a 4-year degree and then send them out of the county? Why aren't they being trained to work here in the county and stay in their homes and in their home community? That needs to be fixed.
So that question's very specific,
Yeah.
but if I can back up and answer it a little more in general, to me, as a business owner, it was always, what is the need of the community? And then what is the product that I need to have that fulfills that need? So it's taking a look at that on a broad scale and then coming in and look at it on individual programs too. Just needs, Supply needs managed.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, that's a tough question. The reason I'm saying it's tough is it's a very narrow field. I guess I want to understand maybe what general courses we could start with that would help. I don't know, something in building materials or something, because I'm not, how many jobs are they trying to fill? 2, 3? I mean, we got to be careful how we manage our resources, I guess, is what I'm saying. I want to obviously work with the community, like I told you, I've been out to the dealership, and they're all hungry for mechanics, and that's not 1 or 2. But I guess I want to listen, see what we could do with the programs we got. Maybe we could add a special one if there was, you could fill a classroom, you know, it's kind of my concern with that one.
Okay,
Go
so,
for
and that type of thing maybe is like a class every so often, I don't know what's required to be an assessor, is it 50 hours worth of instruction, is it 200 hours worth of instruction, and so on, and it could even maybe be done online and provided through the school. One of the things that I've been real interested in, I have 45 years, or about 40 years in IT, and IT is spreading, and add that to the fact that one of my last jobs at Boeing, I've been an engineering manager, so I was teaching engineering discipline to 300 developers at Boeing. And I did that online for about 2 years. So why can't that type of thing be done here, so somebody on a mountaintop in Shoshone can pick up a large number of credits down at St. Mary's, up at Bonner's Ferry, and so on. Let's give all these people an opportunity. And it's like we need to unleash the faculty and get this out there and make their people's lives better.
There has been a lot of advertisements about what candidates are the most conservative. What makes you the most conservative?
Go for it.
I'm not going to judge that I'm the most conservative. What I will say is that as part of the questionnaire that we did for the KCRCC for the vetting, we were asked to say which political platform we were most aligned with, and then were there certain things that we were, well in favor of, and were there other things that we were not in favor of. And so what I would suggest to somebody who really wants to know is spend some time reading. I mean, you can see how I align with the platform or how I don't. Now, the 3 of us have all answered those questions. I don't think you're going to find, I know that the other 3 candidates did not go through that particular questionnaire process.
Given the opportunity.
Yeah, but I would say that I think that'd be a really good place for someone to take a look and maybe be the judge, okay?
The best answer I can give on that is if you go to the Democratic website, you'll see the other 3 endorsed by the Democrats. Now, I haven't known the Democrats to endorse conservatives. So I think that's your clearest answer right there. We're endorsed by the Republican Kootenai County Central Committee. They're endorsed by the Democratic Party. They're not conservative.
Okay, my background is the main reason I moved back here was because the culture. My family are farmers here for a long time. My grandfather in 1925 was Canyon County State Representative, Republican, and in the 40s, starting in 1946, my aunt was named a Senator Henry Clarence Dvorak, is a dam named on the Clearwater. She was his executive assistant. So I have all of these cultural values. Also, my family has been doing has been here since 1660 in Virginia. And actually, one of them worked for George Washington as a company commander during the French and Indian War. He actually did work in Virginia during the French and Indian War, not the Revolution. And my family signed the Declaration of Independence, one of the cousins. And another one was the president of the Ratification Convention for the U.S. Constitution, and later on wrote petitions and other things for the Bill of Rights. So I have that massive amount of history. This is well documented. I spent $30,000 running around getting this. So you can expect me to be careful with people's money. You can expect me to reflect traditional values and to try and encourage everyone to do those. And I'm a devout conservative Christian, and I would like to at least show those values to the especially younger people and have them accept those if possible.
So that's,
I don't know how you rate that, but that's who I am. Okay?
If you could hold the microphone just a little closer. Yeah, thank you. Okay, on a lighter note, what activities or committees, etc., have you volunteered for at NIC? Yes or no alone? If any.
none so far. Activities in the community. I'm active in the Knights of Columbus over at St. Thomas, which is basically we run a lot of things, different events, food, clothing. We're handing out kids for coats and stuff, and we support a lot of the local ones, and we're really proud of. Over the last year, we raised enough money to buy 2 ultrasound machines for, I forget which area we gave it to, so that mothers in need could have that. And that each one of those machines was over $60,000. Wow. And the Knights of Columbus came through here, our local Catholic church, providing those. So I can't say I have with the college, but I sure have in the community.
I've been here, basically I'm getting my 5 acres out here on the prairie and my tractors and stuff going. So that's kept me pretty busy. I've been going to some of the games, the baseball games. In the past, to give you an idea of what I've done, I was an HOA president for 44 homes, but I've not been involved in the school. One of the things I'd really like to be involved in is, if possible, is one, working with the building trade, because I started building a church when I was 5th grade, and I've been doing stuff constantly since then. 2, I was a welder at one point. 3, I was a gas and diesel truck mechanic in the Army. And 4, I have 40 years of IT, including being the manager for all the new development for the factory systems for all the Peterbilt and Kenworth factories in the United States and Canada. So the only dollar way I could put that was 2 years ago. In 2016, that was 11.5 billion. So in sales for those trucks. So I'd like to see those types of trade things really expand, and I was hoping that at some point the board would have like a portfolio. Maybe she'd be working with the medical people, you'd be working with some of the mechanics or whatever, and I'd be working with other programs to support them, not to interfere with what the president was doing, but to make sure the resources are there and to encourage people in those programs. That would be exciting for me, really neat, okay?
So currently, no, I've not been on, volunteering at the college. What I did get involved in right away when I got back to Idaho was election integrity. And I spent this last year down a pretty deep rabbit hole with a lot of time involvement around that particular thing. My sign, my magnet on the side of my car says vote November 8th, Diana Sheridan, NIC Trustee. I'm a big fan of voting day up, and my competitor, the group marketing that just came out today, encourages everybody to vote absentee ballot.
Ready?
Yep.
Do we have everyone's questions? Has everybody submitted questions that wanted to? Okay, thanks. What is the main point of contention between you and your opponents? In other words, what will you prevent from happening? Exactly what that means.
I think I get it.
But what is your main point of contention between you and your opponent?
The spread of the accreditation, that's the big one. They're spreading just bad information, and there's no need for that, and there won't be a problem with accreditation, and I guess that's the best one. That's our biggest difference.
I would agree, same here.
I think there's been a disservice done by not portraying more accurately what I think the current status of the school really is. And I think that has done harm based on conversations that I've had with people around not, just their concerns around that, not sending students this year because they were concerned. And, yeah, that would be my number one, is let's deal with the honest facts as they are, current to date, and to keep saying that it is threatened makes it like the current event, and that's not what I see when I look at the facts and the information that's in front of us. I know that the former president, the temp was working on this and had, and I know the current president is working on it too, and that everything on the website is leading me to believe that this is well under control. So to have the community thinking that it's still not under control, I think is a disservice.
We agree.
Okay, this concludes our question section of the forum. You each have a minute to conclude.
They're all looking at me, so I guess I'll start.
You've got the
So I'd like to emphasize what they said about indoctrination versus instruction. You have to have academic freedom, and you cannot tell adults what to do, but you also the school should not be pushing certain philosophies. It should just be teaching them the skills they need for life. And things like critical thinking, things like math, how to do your checkbook even, and obviously English, all the common skills. That's what people need. That's the value the community college can add to the community.
I'm going to be pretty short for this one. I'll leave you plenty of time, Diana. North Idaho College is in desperate need of leaders who will boldly tell the truth about who we are and what we can be. We are not a community irreparably divided by race, class, ideology, and gender. We are a community bonded together by our uniquely American values of freedom, opportunity, and redemption.
First of all, thank you for giving up your face tonight and coming out to be with us. I really appreciate everyone's time. And in conclusion, I just want to say that I know that the college is a great service. I just want to see the reputation reestablished and it being used for the gem that it is and the resource that it is, and giving students skills that they'll need to actually be positive, constructive citizens in our community.
You done?
The candidates will hang out so you can talk to them individually, and please have cookies and coffee in the other room.